Hi folks, it's Coach Kelvin here from the We Run Virtual Run Club and We Run Coach for Leeds and surrounding areas as well as online coaching. This is the last video in a short series on hydration. It's probably worth visiting the other videos and maybe seeing if you've got any questions, if there's anything that's still unanswered. You can pop them in the comments of one of the videos, this video or a separate post, and I'll do my best to answer those. In this video, I just wanted to just reinforce a couple of things, a couple of kind of myths about hydration, and also talk very briefly about day-to-day hydration. So let's do day-to-day hydration first. So for men, want to be drinking between 2 and 2.5 litres a day, and women want to be drinking between 1.5 and 2 litres a day. This is also relative to body size. Bigger people generally do need more, smaller people do need less. So again, it's making sure that we're not way outside of those brackets is probably a good call. The next thing is that we need to, as we've mentioned in the previous videos, I'm just kind of reinforcing these things, that we need to replace on top of that anything that we lose through exercise. And we don't have to replace all of it whilst we're exercising. It depends on the duration of the exercise, which we discussed in a previous video. But we do need to make sure that if we replaced half of what we lost whilst we were running, we do need to replace the other half within the next kind of few hours after that training run. The other thing is we need to drink little and often, and to a certain degree front load that into the day. So drink a little bit more in the morning when we're a little bit dehydrated when we wake up. And don't drink loads of water late in the evening, otherwise it might affect quality of sleep. The other things that I just want to finish with are two things that I hear about hydration, which I'm going to say have been disproved, but I don't think they're ever really proved. And one of those is drink as much as possible. That's definitely not a good idea. You can end up diluting your blood sodium levels too much, and that can actually be dangerous. And the other one is drink to thirst. Definitely drinking to thirst, you can still end up, particularly when you're training, you can end up really dehydrated. And even, if you get extremely dehydrated, one of the things that can happen is you actually don't really feel thirsty anymore. So drink to a strategy. Or at least somewhere near it. We're not trying to get it to the exact milliliter of fluid, but as long as we're in the ballpark, you'll probably be okay. And the only caveat that I've got on drink to thirst could be, let's say for instance I go out for a run which is an hour and a half. Again, as we've discussed in previous videos, for a run that's an hour and a half, I only need to replace a small percentage of what I'm losing in fluid. So I could drink to thirst. I could just drink little bits as I was going along. Every time I felt a bit thirsty, I'd drink a little bit, because I'm predominantly relying on the fluid that I've already got retained in my body. But even drinking to thirst, I'd still have to go, okay, came back from that run, I've finished a 500ml bottle. I know in an hour and a half I'll lose X amount of millilitres, minus the 500 millilitres that I've just drunk, and I would need to still make sure that I replaced any lost fluid on top of my daily intake. The other thing that we can do, and particularly for like longer runs and races, and particularly in hotter conditions, we can front load a little bit of hydration as well. We do that by adding a relatively high sodium content into about 500 to 700 millilitres the night before and the morning of an event or a race. So I hope that all makes some sort of sense. It's really about finding out, using those baselines for men and women that we've just discussed, working out how much you lose at certain temperatures whilst you're training at certain intensities per hour, and making sure that that's replaced on the run if the run's long enough to require that, or at least it's added into the rest of the day's hydration. So I hope that makes some sort of sense, and if you have any questions, please pop them in the comments below. And for now, happy running!